Everyone knows that girl from high school. She's angry, bitter, and emotionally manipulative. She's the bully that lives to tear people down to build herself up. She's the girl you expected to leave behind at graduation. But what happens when these women go to college and enter the workforce? Well, they become feminists, of course. Join the Honey Badgers as we discuss feminist mean girls. As always, the show will be available for download after the broadcast at honeybadgerbrigade.com.
Like a furry torpedo to the jugular. This is Honey Badger Radio, radio with bite.
Hello and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. As always, I'm your host, Rachel Edwards, and here with me are Crystal Garcia. Tell us a bit about yourself, Crystal. Crystal?
Uh-oh. Crystal.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
sorry,
Crystal.
I always have an issue finding the unmute button. Yeah, I am the admin for the Return of Femininity and Loving and Celebrating Men pages on Facebook, and I'm currently writing 100 Days of Advice on How to Treat Men Right.
And we've also got, as always, Karen Strawn. Hey, Karen.
I think Karen's not going to be responding at the moment because she's
I'm here.
making a roast.
Here.
She's making a roast.
She's
I'm
always
in
making
the
a
middle of
roast.
having a roast. I got dinner on late. I'm sorry. It was Nick Redding's fault. You're just gonna have to bear with me. I'll be back on in like half an hour.
Okay, we'll intro
okay.
you then.
All right, Allison Tiemann.
Oh, yeah, that's me. My name is Allison Tiemann. I have blogged at A Voice for Men and genderaddict.com, and I also helped found the Honey Badger Radio, which is what you're listening to. And yeah, I've been involved in men's rights since I was 16, or not men's rights, or learning about men's issues since I was 16 when my mother gave me a book called The Princess at the Window. And so it's been a while, and it's good to be here with all you lovely ladies.
Oh, it's nice to have you as always. And we've got Hannah Wallen.
Hello.
Hi. Tell us a bit about yourself, Hannah.
All right. I got started writing about a friend's case. I have an interest in due process rights, and I guess that's kind of my main interest in men's rights. I write the blog Breaking the Glasses, and I've written articles for A Voice for Men, Gender Addict, mensrights.ca,
And Honey Badger Brigade.
and Honey Badger Brigade, and I can't remember what else.
Breaking the Glasses, she's really cool. Hannah is a very cool person.
Yes,
No,
she's really good at crocheting things too.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's,
And I have a mind like a steel sieve. I remember big important things, but forget little important
little
all the
iron
time.
fallings that fall to the floor.
oh no.
Like
We've
maybe
got,
in your
a
toes.
blog.
We've also got Kat Rocha.
Hello, I am Kat Rocha. I am the owner and founder of 01 Publishing. I publish graphic novels, and basically my entire life I couldn't figure out why feminists would say on one hand that women are superior, and then on the other hand say that we're oppressed by the evil patriarchy, and it confused the hell out of me. And I realized I don't need them in order to be successful, and I want to help spread that message.
Thank you. And actually, a bit of what I do, I'm the host of this, and I'm also host of, a panel member of Tales from the Infrared on AVFM Radio. I also run a blog called Naughty Nerdist on Tumblr, so it's naughtynerdist.tumblr.com, where I talk about different nerdy things in men's rights and atheism. And check it out sometime. Because, I'm always glad to have people there, and I always ask me anything. I will answer any questions you have. So, anyway. So, let's go on. Let's carry on. Pretty accessible. All right, guys. Are you awake?
Yeah. What? We're
All right.
awake. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Because we got a really interesting show. We've got the Zoe
Really
Quinn
interesting
stuff.
show.
We've got a bunch of different. Basically, our topic today is feminist mean girls, and that's what we're going to focus on. So because there's so much to go over, I decided we're not going to have as much news today, so we're just going to focus on different things. And Crystal has a couple of comments that I found on that were written to a 16-year-old girl on Tumblr. And here's a bit of context. I think her Tumblr was something like, you don't need, well, no, not you don't need feminism, but basically one of those very obvious, like, you never need feminism, or, yeah. And that was, of course, on the Women Against Feminism tag, and she got a bunch of hate mail over it. So take it away, Crystal.
Okay, messages a 16-year-old received on Tumblr from feminists. This is what they had to say. Quote, "You're disgusting. You sound so fat, like I'm not even kidding you. Sound like a fucking brony, or those guys with the pizza faces that shoot up schools. Like you need to fucking stop. Take your anti-feminist shit and shove it down your dick hole because literally nobody wants to hear what you have to say about it. Nobody fucking asked you. So go play with your Twilight Dash and Flutterjack ponies, you fucking immature assholes." Next one.
Flutterjack? What?
Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about. Anyway. Flutterjack, oh god. Okay, next one. "Kill yourself, you're communist. You communist." End quote. Next one. "Go to hell." Next one. "Idiot." Next one. "You're dumb, kill yourself." And no, I am not speaking slang just for the sake of it. They actually said, "You are dumb, kill yourself." Next one. "You are literally mentally handicapped. Way to be an ableist." Okay. Next one. "Go die. The world doesn't need a piece of shit like you." This is all being said to a 16-year-old.
Yep.
Next one. "You're scum." Next one, in caps. "Go fuck yourself, you little piece of shit." Next one. Apparently, the girl receiving this obviously, did not feel good about this. And then she said, "Good, I'm glad you feel like shit," is what the feminist said to her. "You're pure trash. I love know you feel awful heart."
Imagine that was supposed to be knowing.
Yeah, it was supposed to be knowing, but, stupid has no limits.
Yep. It sure doesn't. And I found this. I'm actually on purpose not giving away her Tumblr. I don't want people going over to her Tumblr if they should hear about it, because she's 16. I don't want anybody messing with her. But yeah, it was. I was searching the Women Against Feminism tag on Tumblr to see, because I remember there was a lot of hate on there before. So there's a lot more there, but this was towards the top, somewhere in the middle, I think. Or actually, no. This was actually in the Women Against Feminism hashtag on Twitter, and then it linked to the Tumblr. And it was this was screenshotted, so there were just screenshots of all of her wall of hate. And she said, "I'm not going to answer anymore." That sort of thing for now, and it was really kind of sad. I don't think she really took it to heart, but it's really fucked up to say to a teenager.
You got to think about this. This shit is coming from the very group of people that make themselves or speak of themselves as the champions of the bullied. This is people who claim to advocate for girls being bullied online, who portray men and boys as the perpetrators of online bullying, and who capitalize on the proxy victim status of girls bullied online. This is those people doing this. They may not be the exact same people who speak about it online, but it's the same group. It's feminism. It's "we care about you" feminism, coming out and telling a 16-year-old girl, an impressionable, vulnerable 16-year-old girl, "Go kill yourself. I'm glad you feel bad. I hope you die." That is sick, and so hypocritical. There isn't enough hyperbole for this. It's just absolutely outrageous and so predictable that they would, commit this type of bullying against someone just because they don't like what she says. How dare she have a shred of independence from them?
Yeah, well, that's just it. They think they're justified in this. I mean, no matter what behavior they engage in, they feel like they're justified because they're doing it for the good word. And they're punishing the heathens for rejecting the good word. Have you heard the word of feminism?
For the greater good
it'll change your life.
For the
Just let the light of feminism come into your heart.
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually,
that's it. The greater good is the justification used for some of the worst atrocities humanity can come up with. As long as you say it's for the greater good, people will accept anything.
have any of you read Scanner Darkly by Philip K. Dick? Because a lot of that attitude he saw in the rehab centers for drugs at the time, where you go in there, you're going through DTs, you're at your worst, you feel like shit, you're looking for a little human compassion, and what do these people do? They verbally abuse you. They tell you you're shit. They tell you you're worse than scum, that you might as well just throw yourself off a building and kill yourself because you are the worst piece of shit in the world. And basically they break you down and reduce you to absolutely nothing so that they can build you back up in their image. And that's really what I'm seeing a lot of feminists doing is, they've got this weird attack you mentality. The only difference is that nowadays we have things like the internet where you can actually get, facts at the push of a button and get other people's opinions almost instantly. And also these people commenting on this poor girl's page were not as articulate. I saw a very definite trend in some of the words they were using.
Well, the reality is that works. If you break a person down through constant abuse, they begin to not be able to make decisions for themselves. It takes a certain amount of... our willpower is like a muscle. And if you're constantly having your muscles exhausted by this barrage of insults, you stop being able to make decisions for yourself. And what do? They step in and start making decisions for you. And this is what's so vexatious. And I was thinking about this today, about this whole situation, and I won't get too far into Zoe Quinn, but the whole idea of the feminist conception of reality, of clinging to this identity of female victimhood, it necessitates forcing all women to hobble themselves. And what we're seeing is this incredible... I realized, and I'm probably not going to be able to articulate this very well at the moment, but I will attempt again later, but I realized that this feminism itself is destroying the possibility of any sort of female creativity, because it's rewarding women who just do what Zoe Quinn is doing, which is basically whine about treatment and play the victim. And go ahead, Rachel. It defeats me.
I can actually attribute some of what Kat is saying, because when I was in therapy, they discussed what people who are in the 12-step program actually go through, because one of the guys who had come there for groups or whatever, he would, the thing about it is, the truth of the matter, they didn't really know how to treat us all, because some of the people there were, they did previously take drugs and things like that. So they were just trying to take this method, like just throw everything at them and hope everything sticks. So one of the things that they talked about was that you on your own, you have to recognize that you on your own are not powerful enough to solve your own problems, and that you have to recognize a higher power. And then just completely surrender to that to eventually be, and that's the thing though, the message is, of course, you on your own are not strong enough to do anything, but you have to just, pretend like there's this higher agent over you, and that through surrendering to that and recognizing that you have no power, that you can overcome your problems. And that's the kind of crap that feminism preaches, which is that you, on your own, you're nothing without feminism. You need feminism, because without it, you're weak, you're stupid, submissive, all of these things. And that's why the feminists continue to push this narrative that when women are saying that they're coming out against feminism, that without it, that you're saying, well, you're happy being subservient housewives, mindless drones that live to please men. Because in their mind, they cannot imagine a situation where you, on your own, are strong enough to think for yourself, where you can be smart on your own, where you can be empowered on your own, where you can empower yourself to do things without the help of a sisterhood. So it is pushing this idea of this higher agent that has to exist, that is greater than you, for you to accomplish all of these goals. And it's horseshit.
Well, and also their use of submissive and powerless is completely incorrect, as you know that I'm a dom, and the way I see these women are a bunch of reckless supremacists. Okay, they go around and they say this is what we want, and everybody should adhere to it, and those that don't, well, fuck everybody. They're just a bunch of reckless supremacists gone nuts, and also. They're trying to use this whole thing with her body, her choice. Are you freaking kidding me? They're making the correlation between genital mutilation and her decision to be unloyal to her boyfriend, and then sexually manipulate other men. Here's the thing. Obviously, I have no problem with sluts or whores. I was a professional slut and whore for many years of my life, okay? I have no problem with that. I think it's, you want to be a slut and whore, that's beautiful, that's wonderful. Be a consensual slut and a whore, okay? The whole thing is, they're trying to say, oh, her body, her choice, as if anybody cares she's a slut. Nobody cares a woman being a slut. You want to be a slut, that's beautiful, that's fantastic, have a great time. The thing is, she wasn't being a slut, she was being manipulative. Okay, she was being completely out of integrity with her boyfriend.
Crystal, save it for the topic.
Yeah, I thought we were on topic.
No. Right now we're talking about bullying, though. But a lot of the things that happened within the Women Against Feminism thing, where there were women that did get a whole bunch of hate, it was that kind of crazy, cliquey high school bullshit that we think, okay, we're grown-ups now, we're adults now, we're not going to have to engage with this crap anymore. And then here it is all over again. And only now these same women who are bullying people, who are making threats. I mean, I remember reading this one sign where she said, I don't need feminism, and then she talked about, underneath that, I think you probably remember this, I think she had red hair, about how she had threats against her as soon as she posted up and said that she was a woman against feminism, and how they just all came out in a backlash against her. It was just, and she's not alone. And the 16-year-old girl isn't alone. A whole bunch of people got a wave of hate just thrown at them as a result of this. And the thing about it is the difference between us and them is that when they get hate, is they use it as a weapon. They use it as a weapon to say, oh my gosh, look at all these people, they're misogynists, and look at how they're victimizing me, look at how this is evidence of the patriarchy, the patriarchal oppression. And it's ridiculous. They weaponize any hate that's thrown against them, whereas we just let it roll off us. But, that's...
Well, I mean, I'd have to disagree slightly, because, I mean, we are bringing attention to the hatred that they directed at this 16-year-old kid. But I think you're well taken. These are toxic victims who use their victimhood to silence others. What really is the difference is that they're turning around and they're using it as a weapon to bludgeon other people. And I apologize for stepping on your toes there, Kat. Go ahead.
No problem. No, I was just going to say, just commenting on that, I think, for all of the women who stand up, and especially the younger you are, that takes a massive amount of courage. And for this 16-year-old girl, I definitely applaud her. But, just going back to everything that we've been talking about, I think what it is, for us, we're honey badgers. We've reached that point where we don't give a shit anymore. We've got our armor built up. The younger, girls who are standing up and saying, you know what, I don't need this. That takes a lot of courage, and I feel for them with the amount of hate that they are getting. I mean, when I finally just said, you know what, I'm going to be as vocal as I feel like it, and I don't really care what other people think of me, I wasn't shocked that I got people challenging me. I was shocked at who started challenging me. And it was mainly a lot of the men in my family. And it hurt finding out who did not think that, not that I want them to think the same way I do, but who exactly was indoctrinated by the feminists, or how much they had been indoctrinated, and how much they didn't stand by me, that I say I don't need it. And, I'm a grown woman. I can take care of myself. These kids that are doing it, I greatly applaud them, because that takes real courage.
It really does. It takes a lot of courage to be a young person when you are in that situation, when peer pressure is the toughest on you. You're still learning how to deal with sometimes being accepted and sometimes not being accepted, and you have somebody literally tell you to kill yourself. I mean, that's just shitty. I wanted to go back really quick and revisit the difference in responses between the two groups. One thing I wanted to clarify that I've seen is feminists don't just use the hatred they receive to silence. They use the hatred they receive from person A to silence person B regarding, discussion C that has nothing to do with discussion A. So if some troll responds to all men are rapists by saying, go die in a fire, then the next time some guy is saying, men have the right to be recognized as rape victims when they've been raped, it's the same feminist that hears that, or feminist who just has access to another feminist copy of her message from the troll, will say, well, your views are illegitimate because this guy said go die in a fire for calling all men rapists. And it's, you get MRAs and anti-feminists will point out that feminists are equally guilty of these kind of hateful messages, and they feel entitled to attack people like that, to shut them up, and to commit exactly the kind of bullying that they lament when other people do it. But I don't see MRAs telling feminists that
MRAs means men's rights activists.
Yeah. I don't see men's rights activists or anti-feminists telling feminists that talking about the existence of female rape victims or the existence of rapists of either gender is illegitimate simply because somebody told a 16-year-old to go kill herself because they didn't like what she said. And I think that's a big difference in response there.
Real quick,
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm getting really tired of them using the term MRA and throwing it around, it's just like, oh, you're just saying that because you're an MRA, or, of course an MRA would say that, or, I full on, my husband got somebody who said, and what MRA website did you get that statistic from? And it was from a government website. It was from the Department of the Interior, what they were talking about. It's just, they throw around these buzzwords, and it's disgusting.
A lot of times they don't even know what it stands for when they're using it. They'll refer to the men's rights movement as the MRA. And if you ask them what the A stands for in that, they have no idea because they just know the initials.
Oh, it's hilarious too because there was just an article on Raw Story and it was not quite as shameless as the articles on various pro-feminist and progressive websites about Elliot Rodger, but War Machine and quoting all of his quotes about how he thinks men are oppressed, blah 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 blah, and insinuating a connection without actually coming out and saying it. And I'm reading this and I'm just like, okay, let's just go through the comments. How many do I have to scroll through before they're calling him an MRA? Right? Just because he said some things that sounded just a little bit maybe like, some things that some extreme MRAs may have said in the past. Most of the moderate MRAs don't like to use the word oppression or oppressed, and they certainly would not compare the treatment of men in today's society to the treatment of Jews in Germany in the 1930s. So, I mean, like, you look at that, I mean, my commentary on that is like, most famous, quote, MRAs who had no idea, had never heard of the MRM, Mark Lapine, George Sedini, War Machine, Elliot Rodger, right? Any man who does something bad and can be portrayed as misogynistic, he's automatically an MRA, right? So, I mean, it's just absolutely, it's a campaign to try to make us seem as dangerous as possible so that action against us will be palatable. But as far as using, I mean, there's no crime in calling out people for atrocious behavior. My advice to that 16-year-old girl and any other girl or woman or man who's subjected to that kind of abuse for speaking out against feminism is to just consider the source. They're a bunch of assholes. That's what they're going to do. Their opinions don't matter. They have proven time and time and time again that their opinions are worth shit because they're based on shit, right? And so, just don't let the bastards get you down. Fuck them if they can't take a joke, basically, is my advice to any of those people. I mean, like, it's like when some kid with Down syndrome points at you and tells you you're retarded. Are your feelings going to be hurt? Because that's what I would equate to a feminist telling me that I'm a horrible person.
Yeah.
Not that people with Down syndrome are horrible people.
No. I don't think anybody thought that.
No, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, they are
absolutely. It's like the pot calling the kettle black.
Well, it's like the pot calling the not black kettle black. The black.
But the other thing is that kid is, the kid who trial by fire. She's going to be stronger for it. That's what I would say to her. You'll be stronger for it. You'll learn that you can deal with rejection.
Yeah.
And
You seem to handle it pretty well.
Just, what people will think what they think. You do what you feel is right. And you hold to your principles, because at the end of the day, the only person you really have to account for or account to is yourself.
Yeah, you're the one looking at yourself in the mirror every day. Right?
Yeah,
They're
I'm not
really
gonna.
genuine assholes. They're going to be assholes no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do what they do. You do what you do. Right? That's always what I've always told my kids about peer pressure. They can do what they do. You do what you do.
Well said. But I don't want anybody to think that she was like that she got too torn up about it. I mean, I think she handled it pretty well. Still, it's not right to send people those kinds of messages at all, and it's fucked up that it happened. I think she's handling it really well. I mean, I looked at a lot of her posts, and she seems, she's not deterred at all. She's, steadfast in this. So we're gonna shift into the next story. So, can everyone hear me? It just everything got silent.
You're all good. We're all muted.
Okay.
Yes, we're muted.
All right, we're going to talk about something.
Do it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about something very interesting. No to Feminism gains massive media support. In the midst of the popularity surrounding women against feminism, one anonymous individual seeks to rip it down while completely missing the point of it all. The Twitter account No to Feminism seeks to satirize the women against feminism as mindless traditionalists that are too stupid to see the power the patriarchy has over them. The irony in this is that this is exactly the kind of nonsense that Women Against Feminism expressed frustration with. the expressed frustration with the arrogance and name-calling within modern feminism. If anything, this is paradeception, because in portraying women as being weak-willed and stupid without feminism, they are revealing the fact that modern-day feminism has itself become parody. The sisterhood that supposedly preaches that all women are strong and capable are saying that the opposite when it suits them. In saying that women are stupid, subservient, and submissive without feminism, they are saying that women are inherently stupid, subservient, and submissive. That only through the power of the sisterhood do they have a chance at being strong, smart, and capable. The only
power
thing
of the Lord compels you.
Yeah. The only thing more disgusting than the accidental misogyny is the media supporting it. News sites like Jezebel, The Huffington Post, and Mashable have joined in to praise someone mocking women against feminism. If ever there was proof that feminists lack a sense of humor, this was it. Good job showing us what we already knew.
I don't think the misogyny is accidental at all.
Well,
that was ownership 101. We own you. How dare you contradict us? But the best thing about this is it is the best demonstration they could have given that they don't have any arguments against it.
Well, how do you use
so all they have left is mocking.
How do you use somebody if they are inherently strong and capable and able to think for themselves and have their own opinions? You can't use that.
You know what I call it?
Feminists cannot handle strong, independent women.
No, you know what I call it? I'm taking to calling it the pimpsterhood. The feminist pimpsterhood.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I like that one.
No,
I mean, I get where you're going. I get where you're going. I get where you're
It's
going.
the pimp hand telling the hose to get back in line.
Yeah, gonna slap him with that ring hand.
How are we supposed to peddle you as victims if you refuse to act like them?
Work them over with that stick, right?
It's the power of labels. See, if you put a label on something, suddenly you control it, whether you do or do not. So, so by them saying, well, being a misogynist, that makes you a feminist, that somehow makes it in their minds like you're now on their side and that they can control you, even though it's totally stupid. It's like saying the sky is green and insisting on it. It's like, no. It's like, yes, it is, damn it.
Is this like Rumpelstiltskin?
I actually have this pulled up.
Name, I'll do your bidding. Like what? Like I don't even understand that how that thinking works. So
because you're a logical, rational human being, that's why you don't understand.
It's like that magical thing, when there's a wizard, if you can just say his name, he won't have any power over you, right? Or a demon.
Yeah. I actually have this. I'm going to read at least one or two of these to you guys. I don't need femmies because I am sick of femcists generalizing about men. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go shopping and have my period. Yeah, I know.
How is having your period a generalization about a woman?
Okay, so it's like, I don't need
I thought that was basic biology. I guess no. I mean, there are women who don't have.
Did they just attribute disagreeing with feminism to PMS?
Talking about your period.
Yes, I did this. I did a fucking video on this shit. This little feminist.
Before we do this, I'm just going to warn you guys that staring too deeply into the feminist abyss is the path of madness. So
I know.
Don't try to analyze this shit too much.
Because remember, when you stare at that abyss, it snubs you.
The feminist dank seeping cave of mystery. What?
Wait, what? Are we talking about damn seeping caves now, Karen?
Dank seeping cave of mystery.
It is very much like the poem "The Cave." So.
Oh wait.
Was that Socrates?
The cave. All right, yeah. No, it was Plato.
Plato, thank you.
Okay, what the hell does this even have to do with? Okay, it says I don't need fistmen. I love wolf whistling so much I purchased baby wolves, raised them on my own, and taught them to whistle at me constantly.
Wow,
Oh,
that is
that's
probably
lame.
trying too hard.
Yep.
That is lame.
Does she know that like wolves can't actually whistle?
It's almost like it's like staring into just oh wow. The stupidity is just unfathomable. It's just they're going out of their way to try and be funny.
I just
But
don't understand how she can manage to hold a job and how any DMV anywhere issued her a driver's license.
What I don't understand is why she doesn't
The
realize that maybe you can dislike wolf whistling, but recognizing putting in place the legal so-called protections to prevent it would result in a totalitarian society and loss of freedom of speech and even freedom of movement and loss of due process rights that is totally unpalatable. Do I like being put on the spot in the middle of a crowded street? No, I don't. But the alternative is unspeakable and unthinkable. So give people freedom of speech, freedom of expression.
It's really just dumb.
They don't seem to have, shades of anything. It's either black or white. They might like the book Shades of Grey, but there are no shades of gray in behavior.
It's total solipsism. It's total solipsism. It's 100% how does this affect me? And how can I make it so this no longer affects me, no matter how much my solution will
Yeah, it's all about me. I don't want responsibility. The two rules.
It's not just that. It's your response. If you are not responding to something as if you have just been, thrown down and raped on the street, you must be advocating in favor of it. That's the lack of shades of gray they have.
Hannah, when did you become a rape apologist? Were you a rape apologist all your life?
I totally
inquiring minds want to know.
Oh gosh.
That term just drives me nuts. It makes it sound like something completely different than what they're saying it is.
I'm sorry I raped you, Hannah.
No, you're not. You liked it and you know it.
Oh, wait.
I'm not sorry.
Oh, Crystal, you wanna read the thing about the male tears, or do you want me to do it?
I'll read. Okay. Male tears and misandry on display. From Jessica Valenti in her I Bathe in Male Tears sweater to a girl burning a copy of The War on Boys. Dear God, what the fuck is wrong? Okay. Misandry is on display. In fact, who else was burning books? Oh yeah, okay. Alright, anyway. In fact, the story going around in the media is that this is an obscure kind of dark humor, and they're calling it ironic misandry. Now, angry Tumblrettes can buy their very own man-hating accessories with fun phrases like kill all men, M is for misandry, dead men can't catcall, oh my fuck. Okay. If he puts his hands on you, cut them off, and I drink male tears. The list goes on and on. They call this ironic misandry, playing on what they imagine to be a feminist stereotype. Yet in doing so, they are showing their lack of empathy for half the species. No one would ever support Germans wearing shirts that say, I bathe in Jewish tears. Nor would they support wearing shirts that say, if a black person touches you, cut their hands off. So why is this kind of bigotry acceptable? In what universe is it funny? It's baffling how these women can cover their asses with the claim of ironic comedy when other kinds of bigots could not. Yet feminists cannot imagine where people get the idea that they hate men. Gee, ladies, I can't imagine how anyone would think that. Oh my fuck.
Yep.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
Wow.
The blinders are on big time with this one.
Okay.
Wow.
I said that you cannot. It can't be ironic misandry if the misandry is actually a genuinely held belief.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the meme that talked about male tears was actually a slang for semen in someone's country. And so, actually, all these women with their cups saying, pretending to drink male tears, the slang is semen.
Okay, I want that mug. I want it in a little sperm now. I want it written in a little spermy on that cup. I totally want that now.
May the world learn how to swallow is all I gotta
Actually,
say
that would
about
be a
that.
great. That would be a
Drink
great
up,
counter troll.
ladies!
That would be a
Yes.
great counter troll. Put out male tears with a sperm on it,
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
and then
I heard
you
it's
totally own the
facial, So
joke.
maybe they'll
Yeah.
put it on their face, too.
Well,
Yes.
that's just
Or
it.
or maybe
Face
we
cream.
should just make a, you know what, we should make a mug that says like teach the world to swallow.
I truly believe in the motto, may the world learn how to swallow. I'm all behind
How
it.
about this? In Singapore, every woman swallows.
Yes.
Since it's against the law to spit, right?
Yes.
Is it really?
Oh
No.
wow, that was great.
That is awesome.
That was funny.
Wow.
Singapore.
Singapore, that's one checked off the list.
Oh, Singapore,
And all those other
you can only
countries
chew
steal pictures.
you can only chew gum if you have a prescription from a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
It's illegal to chew gum otherwise, and if you're caught spitting, if you're a guy, because girls and women don't get caning as punishment, but you get caned as your punishment.
So,
Singapore is like
Roddy
Disneyland
Piper-
with martial law.
Roddy
And
Piper
corporal
would not be able to-
Wait,
would
what?
I don't
not
know.
be able
Like,
to,
how's it like
to
Disneyland?
visit. If he
Well,
was
they
in
run it like
the gas
Disneyland.
station,
They even have a country
People, let
uniform.
Hannah speak.
can't be all out of gum. Roddy Piper can't visit Singapore.
Well,
Oh yeah, you're right.
I mean, he shows up to kick ass and chew gum, and he can't chew gum without
No.
a doctor. That's
That's
just,
what we can.
What?
or you can find a Hollywood doctor to give him a prescription for some
Okay,
gum.
these are some of the most
what
bizarre
what is
tangents.
the malady for which they prescribe chewing gum? Exactly. I kind of wonder about that.
Everyone's
Maybe
gonna be
have a lack of saliva, you know, dry mouth.
I
Maybe.
think of another.
yeah.
I love it. Every time I see those photos now, I'm just gonna think sperm drinking.
Indeed.
A big old cup of sperm.
Well, now that says that the feminists who claim to be bathing in male tears are obviously lying, because semen is good for your skin.
I think
So-
Apparently.
we need a meme. We need a meme of that
See
Jessica
the evidence.
Valenti
Oh, gosh.
shot with the words "bukkake party" on.
Oh my god!
Oh
No.
no! It's the single
God.
sperm.
I like bukkake.
It's the single sperm.
Oh my god, that is the best ever! Yes! Bukkake. I love it.
Oh gosh, you guys.
Everybody loves bukkake.
Well, she does bathe in it, so
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, what? That is definitely. I love it. I love it. I like bukkake.
Okay, here's a question. How do they think that they're... What is the logic behind calling this ironic misandry?
they're backpedaling. Let's be honest. They're fucking backpedaling. I mean, when you get to the point where you've got like merchandise, and here's the thing. I think it's the site that I saw a lot of this on, or at least the stylish variety, where it just didn't. It wasn't made on Cafe Press or anything like that. It was on lookhuman.com, and all you have to do is just start doing do a search on there for like misandry or feminism, and then just go through a couple pages, and then it starts to show things like I miss my boyfriend, but my aim is getting better, and it's got guns, or feminist killjoy, and it'll have knives, or it's all this stuff, or stuff like if he puts his hands on you, cut them off. I'm like, that's fucked up. I mean,
I don't really take a whole lot of offense to it. I mean, like, I'm a big fan of rape jokes, and I'm a big fan of all kinds of jokes. Holocaust jokes, if they're, if they actually have some wit to them, and like I don't what bothers me about the entire situation is that these are women who think that rape jokes are completely unacceptable, that joking about certain things is completely unacceptable, fatty jokes, all of these things, jokes that body shame women, jokes that slut shame women, jokes that that are rapey, all of those things are unacceptable. Totally, no matter whether they're ironic or not, no matter whether, I mean, look at Colbert, Stephen Colbert, and his Ching Chong Ding Dong Foundation for Sensitivity to Asian Americans or whatever, right? And how everybody flipped, all those feminists and social justice warriors flipped their shit over his.
It went over their head.
His absolutely 100% ironic racism that wasn't even targeted as at Asian Americans. It was targeted at a white owner of a sports team whose team had a name that was with the Redskins, right? And his suggestion that, oh, well, I'm not going to change the name. I'm just going to open a foundation for original Americans, and that'll be that. You know, my good deed is done to, you know. So he was making fun of that guy, right? By being himself, his character, ironically right-wing, ironically insensitive, ironically, you know, Stephen Colbert, right? So and it was obvious irony. And all of those people flipped their shit.
And, well, maybe because they don't understand the concept of irony, because I don't really think these women actually even care. I mean, they really would bathe in male tears if there were enough of them. I think that this is a genuinely held belief that they have.
Either that or they don't think, I think maybe they think that men are so powerful and invulnerable that any tears that a male would ever shed would not be genuine. They would not be sincere. They would be some ploy, whiny crybaby stuff, right? I mean, like you see that coming out all the time. MRAs, you know, any man who complains about the treatment of men in society, he's just a whiny neckbeard crybaby, right? So they don't see those tears as representing genuine suffering because they don't see men as capable of suffering, right? Because men are powerful and invulnerable in their minds, which really, really begs the question of, you know, how long have these feminists been in bed with the patriarchy? Because, I mean, they seem to be spreading their legs for it constantly. I mean, they you know, they're doing pillow talk, you know, oh, you man, you're so big, you're so strong, you're so invulnerable, you know, you're so capable of oppressing others. Right? And it's no wonder these little hipster guys, right, who are in general really insecure guys who become male feminists, no wonder they get seduced by it. They're told nothing but that you, as a man, you're powerful. As a man, you're in a position superior to me. As a man, you know, you have power over so much, right? You know, of course, that's like stroking the ego. You know, it's better than a hand job to a guy who's insecure.
Yeah. Hey, I would argue against that. But
of course you would.
I know there are a lot of men. No, I know there are a lot. No, you and I both know, Crystal, that some guys would prefer a hand job to an ego stroke.
Well, for a guy who's that insecure, right? For a guy who's that insecure, that attention and that sort of holding him up as being in a superior position, no matter what, men are uniformly privileged, right? Even when you talk about kyriarchy, you know, male privilege still exists and female privilege still doesn't. Under intersectionality, you know, that set of window dressing that, you know, they slapped onto patriarchy theory to make it seem less like blaming men, you know, so I mean, like, these guys are insecure guys. They've probably been bullied, right? Often probably been bullied about not being masculine enough, you know, through their childhood and adolescence, right? And then they have these women who are telling them, like, you're the man, you know, you've got privilege, you've got power, you've got all of the goodies and the cookies, right? And, you know, so of course it appeals to them, you know, and us women, right? Even though we're strong and independent, we're still beneath you, right? And then feminists claim that women like us are submissive, right? That we're subordinate, we're subservient, right?
Actually, I've had friends tell me that I must be a battered woman for thinking the way I do.
Oh, I get accused of being all the time.
Wow.
Even people who see my pictures, that's a fake picture. It's not really my picture, and I'm a guy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I got it today.
I get the guy
all
thing.
have penises.
Yep. Yeah. Well, you know.
Or we're different versions of Paul Elam.
Well, you know,
I had accusations that I was actually a John the Other sock puppet.
every time we talk about this,
even when I came out on
head.
video, they said that he was writing my scripts for me.
Oh my god!
I know
Really?
anybody who understands anything about writing style would never believe that. Because, frankly, I could never write like him because, honestly, I just couldn't. I have a hard enough time collaborating on articles with him without wanting to change everything he says.
Wow. Well,
because you're so submissive, Karen. So very, very submissive.
Actually,
You're just
the
like
feminists right now, they believe, or at least if you ask them, like people like Jessica Valenti and the others are saying that this is an MRA conspiracy and that we're all sock puppet accounts or avatars and that they're speaking for us and basically that these women are just being held hostage by the patriarchy and they're telling them what to say.
The hardest thing about being a sock puppet is just it's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I know. Having that hand shoved up there all the time really stings.
Have you ever seen how big Paul's hands are? He's a big guy.
Well, fuck, he's a big guy. Like, what do you expect? It's a price we pay, though.
I wonder if they're going to eventually give up on that angle, though. I mean, how can they explain the six of us talking together like this? I mean, it's
no
the
other
contortions.
angle to insert. No.
Anna!
It's like, how do we know Dustin
He's
Hoffman
an octopus. He's a
aren't the
tentacle
same
monster.
guy when they've never been in a movie together, right?
Oh, I understand. I get it now. Paul Elam is a shapeshifter. That is
He's a
the only
tentacle
way.
monster. Yeah.
He's a shapeshifter because he can be a
Found this
black
out, you
woman.
guys.
He can be a
He's
black
tentacle
woman,
monster.
a blonde woman, a redhead. He's
Yeah.
clearly a shapeshifter.
No,
God.
everyone in the world is just different sock puppets of Paul Eel. Even the feminists, they're also all Paul's sock puppets.
Well, his ego is almost that big.
Entire world, and all of the arguments are just Paul's sock puppets arguing with each other.
I don't see why that's
sock
not a
puppets all the
reasonable
way
theory.
down. It's sock puppetception.
But all your listeners are also Paul's sock puppets.
In fact, Paul is a sock puppet of himself.
Yes.
Sock puppet.
And all the way down at the bottom, the hand that's controlling everything, David Futrell.
Oh my
Oh
god.
goodness. For those of you who don't know, David Futrell is a
Samachai said sock puppetception.
Just
person who
Google him.
writes who apparently exposes misogyny.
Oh my
And-
god.
Mocks misogyny online.
You know.
Misogyny, is that like a scarf or something?
Is that misogyny
it's-
in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
It's another word for shut up, basically.
So true.
Well, we've got. Oh gosh, now we can finally go into what everybody has been waiting for, very patiently.
What?
The Zoe Quinn scandal.
Ugh.
Yeah,
So scary.
yeah. Let the hate flow through you. But no, but
I'm
seriously.
just going to trip you up, okay, Rachel.
Oh, yeah, okay, seriously though. Okay, the Zoe Quinn scandal. As many of you may know, a game developer by the name of Zoe Quinn is now locked in the middle of a social media war. On the surface, this is a story of infidelity, but beneath that is a story of nepotism, corruption, and the state of gaming journalism. In the wave of he said, she said, is a mass censorship of anything to do with this story. It is a phenomena happening across social media, news sites, and forums, leaving us to wonder what this says about the state of the media. To understand this, you've got to go back to the blog of Zoe Quinn's ex, where he details the extent to which she cheated on him. It's who she cheated with in particular that has become the subject of heated debate. These men are well known in the industry, painting a picture of a network of developers and gaming journalists that don't know the meaning of the term conflict of interest. While much of this is speculation, here's what we know for sure. Zoe Quinn has a history of social justice damseling, a notable case of which resulted in the shutdown of a contest to help women in gaming get their foot in the door. Now, and here, this next part is speculation. I don't know to the extent of yet, but I will clarify after. As a result, they were doxxed, their Twitter account was banned, and their website crashed, all because she found it to be oppressive. When all that was done, Zoe's project Rebel Gem was funded. While many questions remain unanswered, one thing is clear. The gaming media is due for reform. Zoe Quinn has had far too much attention. We must let this now become a discussion on how games and social justice don't mix, and not about some girls' bad habits. Now, to clarify after this, I've actually been looking into this, and what the Fine Young Capitalists, which is the contest in question, what happened, from what I understand, is this. They're saying that they don't understand, well, at least the guy that they had come out, and the spokesperson who spoke on it, on a SoundCloud thing, and we don't know how much they would actually say. He believes it had to do with some kind of thing about trans people and the rule that you had to be transitioned, and by transitioned, they mean that your friends and family recognize you now as a female, but I don't think that's the case, because I went back and I looked at the tweets in question at the start of this Twitter war, sometime around, I think, February 28th, where she's talking about how she wants to talk to these people and talk some sense into them. And basically what happened, there was a video and there was an ad where they're talking about how they wanted a woman to put on makeup for it was what am I trying to say? It was an advertisement, it was promotions, and they wanted her to go on camera and such and so forth, and I think there's something about that they found oppressive, and which is kind of weird, because these people, the ones starting the contest, are just as much involved with social justice, if not more so. They've, drunk the Kool-Aid full on, and they were pushing the idea that this was something done by rich white men that just wanted to make money off of women, when in reality this was trying to raise money for cancer research and to try and get women to get their foot in the door. So what happened was they said, okay, tell us your game, pitch the game, and we will make promotional art. We'll promote it. This will be a contest. You enter in the contest, and the internet decides which game gets made. And then the 8% of the profits go to the person with the idea, and the people who did all the promotional things, they get paid some, but the rest of it goes to charity. And Zoe Quinn seemed to feel that they were trying to make women work for free or whatever, but basically her and a bunch of others went like crazy and attacked them. And if you believe the Reddit post, they tried to contact the media about this, saying what was happening and telling them what the contest was really about, but no one would take it. Until now. And now 4chan has stepped up, and they funded a lot of things going towards the contest to try and get it to finish and get these games, I think there are 5 finalists, to get that to the point where they can actually do this.
Well, as far as I know, GamesNosh, which is a smaller website, they reported on a bunch of this stuff, including Zoe Quinn's multiple affairs with people in the gaming journalism and the industry, right? And how that may have impacted her success, possibly not based on the merit of her product or her project. And their entire website was pulled down by their host. And it would only they could only get the host to reinstate the website if they put Zoe Quinn's response to the article in the body of the article.
Oh gosh.
As far as I know. I mean, this is really the thing. I mean, like, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, it's a a possible case of a woman sleeping her way to the top, whatever. Okay, she's sleeping her way to success, success based on who she seduces rather than how good her project is, right? How good her game is, right? It says a huge amount about the industry of gaming journalism itself, and how, I mean, everybody knows that money changes hands. Everybody knows that, hey, we're going to buy, this game developer is going to buy this journalist dinner, or he's going to do this favor for him, in return for a positive review. Everybody knows that that goes on, right? But the whole point is everybody knows that that goes on, right? Now, when they look at this feminist woman, and they're not going to assume that she slept her way to success, right? And the moment that it starts to leak out that this is possibly what happened, right? Then everything gets shut down. She's making false DMCA claims against videos that are exposing these connections that she has, these improper relationships that she has with these game journalists, right? She's Games Nosh gets pulled off the internet. Apparently, she has, or someone representing her, had it wiped off of internet archives. Like you couldn't even find the article on the Wayback Machine, right? Because it was completely wiped. Like you have this whole. It's not just about her getting what she got. Possibly by sleeping with people. It's the fact that all of these people are now trying to cover up and cover up. They don't try and cover up the fact that this game developer, everybody knows that it goes on. He buys dinner for this guy. He takes him out. He gets him freaking a lap dance, whatever, right? Everybody knows that goes on. And they take it into account. What she allegedly did, is a complete and total violation of any kind of feminist principles that any self-respecting feminist who actually believes the rhetoric should adhere to, right? And it's a violation of journalistic integrity on the part of the writers, right? And then on top of that, then they're trying to suppress any reporting on it, right? It's just absolutely shit all around. And now she's playing the victim because she's getting criticism online, and she's saying, and all these feminists are saying they're slut-shaming her for sleeping. Nobody's fucking slut-shaming her. Nobody is slut-shaming her. I mean, nobody cares how many guys she sleeps with. What they care about is, did her game end up on Steam, right? Because it was a good game and it was worth being on Steam, or did it end up there in return for services rendered? Right? And if it did, why can't we talk about it the way we talk openly about the fact that, game journalists get wined and dined and everybody's friends with everybody else in that little community, and, and all of this other stuff, right? Why aren't we allowed to discuss that the way we are with all of these other things?
Yeah, it's
I agree.
ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Actually, I'm reading a Read It post by one of the guys from Fine Young Capitalists, and it's amazing. He says, "I just wanted to focus on something other than women being oppressed. I wanted to show that they make good games," and everyone said that's not what women in games want to talk about.
Well, it's what some women in games want to talk about.
Well,
it absolutely is. It's all those same women who were there right at the beginning. That 5% of the gamer population that have always been there, that have always been women, right? Who like the hobby, they like the genre, they like playing, they like reading about it, they love everything about it, including the sort of guy-land or guy-like sort of atmosphere of it, right? They like everything about it. It's like the 5% of libertarians who are women. They're there because they want to be, because they like it, right? They didn't come in at some point seeing it as something that, oh, now it's in fashion, so now I want to get involved. And now I'm gonna, but it's not in fashion enough. I need to change the drapes, and I need to change the carpet, and you guys need to start talking like this, and you guys need to make allowances for this, and I'm gonna need my own personal dressing room because I can't be expected to use the guy's dressing room, and all of these changes that feminist-minded women insist are made in any kind of male-dominated industry.
It's one of the biggest bullshit aspects of this.
It is, because they don't know how to build anything. They just know how to tear down. And that's exactly what we're seeing here with the gaming industry, is it's being overrun by feminists and social justice warriors. I mean, look at, what's her name? Dina Abu Karam, I'm totally slaughtering her name, from Mighty Number 9. Mighty Number 9 was a Kickstarter to raise money to basically do the Mega Man game that all of the fans wanted. It was most of the original Mega Man team. It was what everybody was looking out for, and this woman who quite literally slept her way into the position of social social coordinator, basically the person who goes out to the fans and talks to them. And she started changing everything. She wanted to make it a girl. She wanted to change the story, and it's like, no, just give us a Mega Man game. And fans were actually going to be pulling their money, and they raised millions of dollars. And it was this huge deal, and it's because they don't know how to build things; they just know how to tear down
or co-op things.
Yeah.
Or co-op. There you go. Yeah, co-op.
And then they twist them to become what they want, and it's really. I mean, it's a sick thing. You've seen it in tech. You've seen it in the atheist skeptic community.
Yeah.
And one of the things that, because I know that there's been a lot of, talk from feminists about how everybody's slut-shaming her, everybody's slut-shaming Zoe, which is not what's going on unless you read the Encyclopedia Dramatica article, which is, it's way
I've
over
seen
the top.
nudes.
You know what?
Encyclopedia Dramatica. What do you?
All of the articles are like that.
No.
All of the articles are like that.
All of the articles are
I'm
supposed
a
to make you want
longtime
to
reader
die.
of. Yeah, I'm a longtime reader of Encyclopedia Dramatica, and that is the status quo. That is a standard article. And here's the thing.
Oh yeah, of
Here's
course.
the thing about those. Here's the thing about those
They
nudes.
lose the right to call that.
But you look at it, it's
They-
like they're
and
not
there's a
treating-
solid reason why they lose the right to call that. Feminists call it rape if a guy in a position of any kind of favor makes an asked favor contingent, on a sexual favor. But they also make withholding affection. They call that abuse. So they turn around and do both of those things. They forfeit the right.
Well, I'm just waiting.
They forfeit the right to
I'm waiting
advocate
for.
that
I'm
women
waiting
be
for
allowed
the-
sexual favors contingent on asked favors. When
I'm-
they say it's rape to
I-
make an asked favor contingent on a sexual favor.
Yeah, no, I'm actually waiting for the allegations to come out from feminist sources that the journalists in question were in a position of power and they took advantage of this poor girl, right? And that
But that's bullshit
that
too.
nothing that she
but
did
it's-
was actually
That's
consensual because they were holding her career success hostage to her putting out.
Okay,
That
wait
is
a
some funny
second.
ass fly infested bullshit.
Oh,
Grayson,
nobody is holding anybody's
if you-
career.
I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying that I'm surprised feminists haven't started
Right.
saying.
but even
I'm with you. I'm
Oh, they
surprised
will.
that argument hasn't started flying yet either.
no.
I'm sure that's where it's headed. I mean, here they are saying,
Other way
"Oh,
around.
her body, her choice." Which, okay, am I on topic now? Because I
Yeah,
started.
you're on
to
topic.
Yeah, now you're on
Go
top.
for it, Crystal.
I got to elbow in to finish.
They
the one thing I
brought
said,
in
though.
her body, her choice, which is a reference to genital mutilation. Okay, as if feminism doesn't fucking shit on everything already. Her body, her choice. First of all, I find that completely grotesque because, the whole fact that she's completely cheated on the man that she was with. This would be a different story if I think it's not different story, but a slightly different story on my part, if she were single. I mean, she'd still be a sexually manipulative asshole, but she had a boyfriend, okay, and she cheated on him. But feminists are ready to throw that out the window. They don't even talk about that she's a freaking cheater and she disloyal. Like, her body, her choice. Oh, okay, it's an abortion reference. Okay, so what the hell does that have to do with the fact that she's a cheater? She's a cheater. She sexually manipulated these men on top of that for her own personal gain. And all of a sudden, her body, her choice, as if she has a right to be completely disloyal. She has a right to be completely out of integrity. Hey, there's nothing wrong with being a slut and a whore. That doesn't mean you're automatically out of integrity. And hey, fuck it, you whatever. You want to be slut out of it. But when you're in a relationship with someone, you have the conversation with, hey, I'm a slut, I'm a whore. Are you okay with that? He says yes. Okay, but you also have to be open with him being okay with his own partnerships. That's called open fucking communication and creating an open fucking relationship if that's what you really want to do. But to cuckold him and to fuck these other fucking guys, I mean, it's bad enough you fuck one other man, but holy shit, 5? I mean, whatever. After one, it's
At
all
least
the same.
5.
At least fucking 5. That is some shit. You know,
Well,
fucking...
to clarify, one guy is denying it, and the thing about it is that it's possible that he had nothing to do with it because there were 2 guys that were unidentified and people just
You know
kind
what?
of...
I don't hold the
Yes.
guys to this shit, okay? Because she is the one being sexually manipulative. They're having sex, and she's being a cheater, and she's sexually manipulating these men to further her career. Oh, wow, that sounds like female empowerment. Maybe use my vagina instead of my brain to get somewhere. And you know what? And that's not me slut-shaming. I have no problem with sluts. Like I said, I was a professional slut and whore. I have no fucking problem with it. But when you have a boyfriend, and when you have a fucking boyfriend, you don't cheat on him. Holy crap. And then feminists, her body, her choice. Oh, okay, that's great. Tell me again about how you really care about men and integrity and all this other crap when you're supporting this woman who cheated on her boyfriend with 5 men, and she furthered her career not by her brains, not by her strength as a person, as a creative person, as a woman, but as a vagina, sliming her vagina across the freaking gaming world, okay? And freaking saying, I am so creative because of vagina slime. No, okay? That's not creation. That is not whatever. You want to be a slut, have at it. If you're single, slut it up, okay? But you're going to manipulate men for your own creative gain. Not creative. Your own business gain, because she has no freaking creative sense except for her sliming. And then you're going to cheat on your boyfriend. How did they throw this cheating on her boyfriend? That is vital. Cheating on her boyfriend. How did that get thrown out the window? All of a sudden it's her body, her choice. She can cheat?
Well, okay, I want to see if I can get you going again. Okay, everybody, I just want to see if I can get her going again. Because she's not just manipulating these men, she's manipulating an entire community.
Yeah.
Like, she's manipulating the entire gamers community.
She's cheating them.
She's
Right?
cheating
Yeah.
them.
She's
She is.
cheating everything.
And wasn't she anti a charity? A charity?
Yeah,
Well, she was anti-cheating. Like, under her definition, her definition of rape, she said in her words, screen kept, right, that if somebody cheated on their partner and did not disclose that and then had sex with their partner, that would not be informed consent on the part of the partner, and it would be considered, in her mind, to be rape.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay, well, let's let Hannah continue her thought.
Yes,
She's been sort of been stepped on for a bit here.
That's okay. That was an awesome rant. It was totally worth it. But no, I we've talked a lot about the slut shaming and everything, but when you really think about it, there's an aspect of this regarding the guys that's really sad, because each of them, in doing the specific favors they've done, not just putting someone's game forward or something like it, but quashing people's speech, manipulating media, and so on. What they've really done is sold their integrity, whatever integrity they might have had. If and I don't know, writing for Kohaku is kind of questionable, but whatever integrity they've had, they've sold it for a cheap piece of ass, and not to give the feminist material for saying slut shaming, but when it's that available, there's and it can be. There is no reason why you should have to lower yourself that much to become, to join in with that level of lying and manipulating and chicanery just to get sex. That's really sad.
It is sad. It is a sad commentary.
It is. Yeah.
What I think that the greater gaming community, because I don't think that the gaming community is so much pissed off about her cheating on her boyfriend as much as Crystal has taken righteous umbrage to that, and I would agree with that, especially considering
righteous fury.
Considering because I've been getting most of this information. I've been really, really, really busy with other things, but my boyfriend has been reading just absolutely tirelessly on this stuff, and he was reading from the chat logs and stuff that got posted, and to me, reading them out loud, and she was absolutely, she is a classic borderline. She is a classic deny, attack, and reverse victim order, right? She is a classic, if you can't forgive me for what I couldn't help but do because I'm only human, then you are a horrible person, right? She was putting that shit on her boyfriend, right? She was putting all kinds of horrible tactics. Like, I'm only going to admit to lying about the lies that I know that you know about, and then I'm going to blatantly lie about the lies that I know you don't know about yet, right? All of this shit, those chat logs are like an instruction manual for mind fucking a person, right? And I mean, it wasn't even that she cheated, like she was an abusive partner, like a hideously abusive partner. Like, I'm going to cheat on you repeatedly, and I'm going to lie about it, and I'm going to delete my chat logs, and then I'm going to say, well, even if I did, you don't have proof, and all of this other stuff, right? And then she, but what the community is mad about is not that she cheated on her boyfriend, it's that she cheated on them, and that those journalists cheated on them, right? Because the journalists are supposed to report, right? And she is supposed to rise on her own merits. That's the way it's supposed to work, right? And so, I mean, basically, to argue that it's her body, her choice, and we should not judge her for what she did is like saying about the Ben Johnson 100-meter dash gold medal scandal in I think it was the 80s, right? That we can't judge Ben Johnson for having been on steroids, right? He should keep his medal. He earned it, even though he was on steroids, right? And nobody should be able to criticize him for being on steroids, right? Because, hey, it was still his body that crossed the finish line, right? That's all it is. It's about cheating. It's not about sex. It's about cheating. It's about gaming the system, right? And that is what this last enclave, the last freaking bastion of nerddom, right? Of geeky maleness, of, I just like what I like and keep your politics out of it, right? This last bastion, the last to fall to social justice warriors, right? This is why they're so upset. Is not because she fucked a bunch of guys, right? It's not because she cheated on her boyfriend even. It's because she cheated the entire community. And she pulled a whole bunch of people and a whole bunch of websites and a whole bunch of everybody in with her fucking scam, right? That's what's really bothering all of those men.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
Right.
Cat, go, Cat.
Okay,
You-
go. Yeah, and one thing that just really disgusts me is her treatment of this group of guys on Wizard Chan. Now, if I understand correctly, Wizard Chan is an online support group for men who are still virgins. I mean, these are, guys, whether they choose to be this way or not, it doesn't matter. They are deeply conflicted men. And she did a video game called Depression Quest, which I took a look at, and quite frankly, it just seemed like the trials and tribulations of first world white women. Where it's the depression that comes from going to a party with all of your friends who love you and doing the dishes. These are the things that face you. But she, basically, one of the guys on Wizard Chan posted, quote, had a picture of her with a link to her website and said, "She is the one who is responsible. Of course, a woman could never relate to anyone here. She would never be with a truly depressed person. Can someone mail her a rant or a link to this thread? God, I hate that cunt." And then two other guys jump in. If you want, I can read their posts. They weren't very happy with the game either. Actually, one guy says the whole game is without substance and is nothing more than excuse in attention whoring. This is clear because the game is about a controversial subject and took no skill to make. Feel free to contact the author here, and he has another link to her Tumblr, and tell her what you think of this game. That is the harassment that she got. It was 3 posts. The third one, honestly, is just angry, and he calls her a stupid whore. But that's it. That's the extent of the, quote, harassment. And she took that and she ran with it and was saying how, these guys were, going after her. She full-on lied about getting harassing phone calls from them. And it's just absolutely disgusting that she, for no reason other than, I guess she was doing vanity searches on Google and came across one post, decided to go after these poor guys.
Yeah,
no,
I saw that.
Yeah, no, she's attacking people who are already vulnerable, just because they're angry at her.
Yeah, it's unconscionable. And they have a right to their opinion, and they have a right to be pissed off. She doesn't have a right to be free of criticism.
No, and it's on their board. It's not like they went elsewhere. And from what I saw, they were saying, give her constructive criticism. Or, if you really don't like what she did, tell her that. Which, to me, I'm all for, just as long as it's constructive. None of this, fuck you whore shit,
Well, I mean, they did call her a cunt, but it sort of sounds like she is one. As Crystal says, she's attempting to slime the whole world with her true value.
Yeah.
Slimer.
Yes.
But
Giant slime.
The thing that
across
pisses
the
me about
gamer world.
I mean, to understand the full extent, I think, of what's happening here, you have to start thinking about every single time there has been a social justice warrior involved with gaming, whether it's a critic or a developer or anything like that, whether it's Anita Sarkeesian or any of these other folks, and then they'll do something that has no substance, or they'll do something that takes no skill, or they'll even outright do something that is terrible, and then it just doesn't get criticized, and everybody has wondered what the fuck is going on. Why isn't the mainstream media picking this up? Why are they only hearing one side of the story? And that's because they're not letting it get any farther than the gaming press. They're just asking these social justice warrior types, and if you actually look at this, a lot of these people they're in San Francisco. That seems to be some kind of a hub. I mean, you've got Anita Sarkeesian, you've got Lacey Green, you've got all these people, the social justice crowd. They live in San Francisco. It's like Washington, I think it's like Oregon. That whole area is like a hub of the social justice types, and they know each other, and they talk, and they network. And that on its own is not a crime. It is when you are unable to separate that friendship from your professional life that it becomes a problem. And there has to be that separation for gaming journalism, especially in particular, because when you are reporting about this stuff, you are endorsing a game based upon your personal opinion, and they rely on that opinion because they think, okay, well, you know something about games, what are you going to say? So when you're acting as an authority on games, and then you say, guys, I think this is a great game, I think you should look at it, I think it's got excellent writing, and it's shit, you are misguiding the masses. And here's the thing, because it's not just that. All the stuff where they talk about how geeks are terrible, how they're sexual predators, how they go out of their way to hurt women, how they're misogynists, all that is coming from the social justice crowd in the gaming community, in the nerd community, and it's these same people, and no one can touch them because they're in these cliquish like groups. And you even see that in the Zoe Quinn post when she's talking to her boyfriend, talking about how the way things are set up, and she feels like a little bit nervous about the situation, or she's saying that and she's trying to rise to the top in order to tear the whole thing down. And he's like, I don't think that you can do that. That what ends up happening is you just choose who ends up being in charge, and that's how this is what this is about. Okay, yeah, go on.
I was just going to interject real quick. Exactly. One of the guys she was with, Nathan Grayson, was a journalist who wrote for Rock, Paper, Shotgun and Kotaku. And when this, quote, raiding happened from Wizard Chan, suddenly Kotaku is covering how this, female developer is getting harassed by these horrible, sexist men. And gee, how did an article like that happen? Well, she was, screwing Nathan Grayson.
And she's almost a nobody, and that's why anybody gives a shit, because it's very obvious that she had help. She had help getting on Steam, that she even got mentioned for all these things. I mean, the whole thing, I think it was, what was it, Game Jam? I think one of the guys that we know she was screwing was on that panel, and it's, it's ridiculous that she's getting influence, and she was purposely going out of her way to gain influence, not just necessarily through having sex, but through making these important friendships, which on its own isn't bad, but when you sit there and you go out of your way to manipulate people to get to a place of authority where you otherwise wouldn't, that is corrupt, and it needs to stop. And that's why I've actually been going out of my way to try and suggest people boycott these specific places that have been censoring all this information. And that's what this is about. And the places that are putting out this media coverage about the situation are playing up the whole slut-shaming thing and downplaying that this is about journalistic integrity. They're saying, oh, we don't... Listen, I have it on good authority that Nathan wasn't fucking that woman when they were writing this article. I'm like, you have it on good authority. You have it on his opinion. You have his word. And that's it. That he wasn't fucking her. And here's the thing, then he didn't have to be fucking her. They just have to know each other. They just have to like each other. And that's the thing. That's what this is about. This is about networking. And people will say things, this even goes back to things like secret societies. People always thought, oh my gosh, they had such power. There's no conspiracy here. This is shit, this is common practice, okay? You network. What isn't common is to sit there and throw your fucking journalistic integrity out of the window because you like somebody. That's what's fucked up. That's what needs to stop.
That's actually, I was watching Nefenor's video on this earlier today, and he used the term I was thinking, conflict of interest. And this is a big thing I was never a regular news journalist. I was always a sports photojournalist. That's like the thing I did the most. But conflict of interest is a really big deal, or it used to be a really big deal in journalism. you were supposed to be impartial. You were supposed to cover who, what, where, when, when, what, the 5 W's and an H. There was no interest specifically in the people involved so much as there was supposed to be. Now, granted, you could root for a team. You could be, like, you could like the Ohio State Buckeyes and still get pictures of the Ohio State Buckeyes. But if you dishonestly covered the Ohio State Buckeyes because you liked them and, say, suppressed a story about behavior among the team, or wrote things that were not true about the team, and then that becomes that conflict of interest. And it's something that the gaming community is not going to tolerate for very long. And this is something that I was mentioning earlier, I think in the chat window. The level of betrayal is actually greater because of who it's hitting. Nerds and geeks have been shit on by everybody else for a couple of generations. It's even now when it's kind of cool to be a famous nerd or a famous geek. Your everyday nerd and your everyday geek is still the socially awkward person that gets left out and made fun of and generally treated like shit by other people for being different. And here we have this chick coming forward and actually abusing the entire community. This is not a way to sell your product to a community that is weather-worn from being socially abused by society in general. And it's not something that, this is absolute bullshit. And the reality is, if you're going to market a product, please, this is what this was really about for her. In the very end, it was about marketing her product, getting her product to the forefront. If you're going to market a product to consumers, which is what she was doing, it's a hell of a lot more effective to start with something of value. They'll be wanted for what it is, or wanted for what it does, or wanted for how it's useful to other people, and then inform people that it's there, and it exists, and what it is, and what it does, than it is to make something for the sake of being part of the market, which is what she did. She designed for the sake of designing there, and she designed for the sake of pushing an idea, and not for creating something that people would like, and then try to convince people to like it. And being female doesn't entitle you to play entrepreneur in God mode, just automatically expecting to be liked and automatically expecting to be bought. And sympathy points depreciate. You take hit for sympathy points. And this is something that isn't going to last her very long at all. And it's already created a huge backlash. So the people that she's manipulating right now, those sympathy points are going to be gone when they start to realize that they're being used, that they're lowering themselves, that they're debasing themselves on her behalf. And honestly, when they start to think about what she's done, because there's hundreds, probably thousands of indie gamers out there, indie game designers out there, people that just write this stuff and are competing for a market that is limited, and they're struggling for some of them even just a little recognition and maybe a little bit of money out of it. Not even to make a career out of it, just to be able to say, hey, other people are using something that I made. And here comes this chick using sex and damseling to shove her way to the forefront of their community, to shove everybody else aside and push a substandard product to the forefront. And you just kind of got to feel for everybody that she stepped on. Because these are people whose struggle involves not being taken seriously for what they do, or because of what they do. And here's this professional bullshitter who shoves them all aside to get taken seriously, not for doing what they do and sharing their aspirations, but for self-aggrandizing and whining and attacking some of the most vulnerable people among them and screwing her way to the top. I mean, this is not something that's going to sit with this community. And if these feminists keep trying to come in and do this, there's going to be a time when it simply ceases to be effective for them. And as far as journalism, gaming journalism, if they're supporting this, they're going to go down because they're going to lose their customer base. You really cannot sell writing to people who don't want to hear what you have to say. And if they know you're full of shit, they're just going to go read something else.
Well, in law, it's considered not just conflict. They don't just consider conflict of interest. They consider something called the appearance of propriety. So even if you are unbiased, even if you are not being, even if you are not giving favors, if there is any question that could be what's happening, right, then you recuse yourself. Right? So even in those cases, you would not write an article and open with, by the way, I'm in a sexual relationship with this person, or by the way, this person is my nephew or whatever, and I'm going to write this glowing review. You would never do that. You would pass that job on to somebody else because there's an appearance of impropriety there. There's an appearance of bias that people are going to take advantage of. And what galls me is how this community of journalists had no idea that any of this might possibly come back to bite them in the ass and reflect poorly on them, right? Like, did they not realize that, even if you set aside the moral issues and the ethical issues of promoting somebody's game that's lackluster, arguably not even a game, more of a, choose your adventure novel, that has no real skill level to it and very little human insight to it. Even that, even because, even setting aside that, even if it was a great game, right? The moment that I had sex with that woman, I would be telling her, well, now I can never write about your game again, ever, or you. Right? Because, my integrity as a journalist is going to be compromised by doing that. But then again, as I said, I guess it's such par for the course that, there's all of this, I'm gonna entertain you for the night, whether it's, having sex with you or whether it's taking you out to dinner and spending a bunch of money on you, so that you can review my game. There's a lot of that goes on in gaming. That one video, it was, it was the Zoe Quinn date simulator. And I sent you guys the link. And
I saw that.
I laughed so hard. I am going straight to hell for laughing at that. But it is the funniest fucking thing that I have seen in a long time. And
I have to say there was this pretty scary moment though when that guy refused her advances.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
she
died.
She died, and it was there was a second.
Him.
He died.
Turned into this demonic creature and ripped his head off or something. It was quite scary.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at the end, and he's talking about, okay, after you write an article about how milk is racist because it's white and blah 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 blah. And then somebody hands you a copy of some game, I forget what, Borderline or Border Grounds or Border something, right? I'm not a gamer, so I don't know. Wrapped in $100 bills to review, right? And after you do all of this, then you have sex with her, and then you write a article about how great she is, or else, right? And that's the end of the game. And it was the funniest fucking video I have ever seen, but it highlights so much the ridiculousness of the situation, right? Like from all the way from having sex with a woman and then writing wonderful things about her to accepting a copy of a game to review that's wrapped in $100 bills to writing an article about how milk is white because it's racist, or milk is racist because it's white, although he said that it's maybe not the milk that's racist, but the cows certainly are because they're white with black spots, and so they're trying to internalize the blackness and they're misappropriating other people's colors, right? I mean, like, just the entire social justice mindset of if you say the right things, it doesn't matter how corrupt you are, right? If you say the correct things, it does not matter how corrupt you are.
They're like social justice indulgences.
Oh my, they are, like just give the church $50 and all those sins that you committed and will commit, that's all just fucking water under the bridge. St. Peter will let you in, no problem. I got an in with that guy. He owes me some favors.
You know what the most screwed up thing that it is that I've seen in all this is that people are like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with mixing social justice with video games? There's a little problem with it. Is that fucking games are supposed to be about fucking games. It's not supposed to be about anything else, okay? It's about whether or not you can fucking play the game well, and whether or not, you can interact with the community and fit in with the community or contribute to the community. It does not matter about all this extra shit. But they're bringing in this crap about like fucking patriarchy theory and that the game industry is fucking sexist and that gamers are misogynists and all this other bullshit. Because it's like Karen says, they're coming in and they're changing the drapes and they're redecorating because they don't like the way things are. They're like, oh, well, listen, you're not saying things the way we want you to say it. You're not doing things exactly the way we want you to do it. So, yeah, you're just going to have to change all that.
They don't care about games. They don't care about the community. They care about what they want. And what they
don't care about women in gaming. They don't care about women getting ahead based on merit. They don't give a shit about any of that. They just care about pushing their fucking ideology, and they don't give a shit. So that's, of course, why they don't find any problem with that being in the gaming media or anything like that, because they feel that they're right. They feel that this is socially progressive, but they're pushing this idea that games have this magical ability to make you sexist or violent or immoral on their own. And that's just fucking magical thinking right there. There's no proof of that.
It means they're basically in bed with Glenn Beck, but go on.
Well, that's the thing. How did this become progressive?
How did it become progressive to be fucking hysterical?
Yeah, to be
about
a killjoy.
The people. Okay, to be about the people who you're supposed to like, and that's the thing. The gamer girls. I don't give a shit if you're a gamer girl. Are you a gamer? It should be what they ask. It should not matter whether or not they're a girl. But they're making it about them being a girl, like it is about like when they're a girl on the internet or when they're a girl in anything. They're like, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm a girl in this. Fucking pay attention to me. When they should just try to get attention based on merit. They're like, I have spent all this time cultivating the skill, whether it's writing or developing or any of this stuff, or the business aspect. This should be the thing that people focus on. But instead, they're like, I'm a girl, I'm a feminist, give me shit.
Yeah, no, it's give me shit because I'm morally superior, and that's really what it is, and that really is what puts them in the same league with Glenn Beck. Although I will give Glenn Beck a little more credit than Feminist, because at least he admits that he's a religious guy. At least he admits that his sense of moral superiority is based on religion, and at least he allows that church down the street performs gay weddings, even though his church doesn't, and he doesn't think his church should be forced to perform gay weddings, he allows that other church feels differently, and that other church can do what they want, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, if
not
he
the
was
way
a-
feminists are, right?
If he was a
They
feminist,
refuse
he would.
to, number one, they refuse to admit that they're a religion. Number two, they refuse to admit that their entire position is based on some kind of vague intuition that they're morally superior to the rest of us, right? And number three, they're completely fucking dishonest, coercive, totalitarian, authoritarian, right? And hypocritical.
Yep.
And when you look at the whole fine young capitalist thing, it's obvious. It's obviously a case of them eating each other at this point, because that's what it is. You will look at their videos where they're talking about feminist theory in gaming and things like that. Okay, and then here's Zoe, who's also this ideologue. They're eating each other. That's
Well, they're
what
not
this
just
has come
eating
down
each
to.
other; they're eating other women. Like, and this is my fear about this whole situation, is that there always seems to be this battle between women who just want to go and create and make things and just take part, and women who want to have want to use the fact that they're female to get stuff without doing anything. Mm-hmm. But that requires, in order to get stuff without doing something because you're female, that actually requires men to be doing things and achieving things and having stuff to give you. So they are, in a sense, support by playing the damsel, by sliming their vagina across the games industry. They are essentially supporting the thing that they say they're against. Because if they were truly against patriarchy, the reason why patriarchy exists is there has to be a system in place in which men can give women stuff in order for women to be able to rely on their femaleness to get stuff from men. And that's what, and if you buy into that, you're perpetuating it.
Of course.
And then this woman has literally stolen attention and money away from women who are doing something for themselves or building something.
That's because they're busy actually doing something. I mean,
but it is. But that's the thing. Is this what it's always been historically? Why women have been so-called oppressed? Because there's always a group of women who just want to keep the fact that men have these, are able to achieve and able to give things to women and be able to use their female power to get things without doing anything. And that requires essentially what they call a patriarchy. It requires men being able to have the freedoms and, so-called freedoms and powers to give them this stuff. And so we have that group of women who wants to get stuff for free, and that necessitates a male hierarchy where men are achieving. And then you have a group of women who are just saying, well, we want to do it for ourselves, or we want to take part in some way. But the thing is that who's been oppressing those women that want to actually do for themselves has always been the women who want to get things for just being female.
Well, basically, the way I see it is I've broken it. I'm not a psychologist or anything, but I've broken it down into two rules that seem to fit. And it's all about me, and I don't want responsibility. So that's what they get out of it. They want the spotlight on them. They want the recognition. They want to be able to say, we made this game, or we tore down your game for one reason or another. But they don't want the responsibility that comes from actually creating something. All they want to do is tear down or take over. And that can be applied to everything, every single aspect of everything that we've been talking about. In this, what is Zoe's deal? Well, it's all about me. It's I don't know what her whether she had designs for the guys that she was seducing or what, but the truth is that she put all the spotlight on her, and you know what? There's no such thing as bad press. This is getting her press. This is getting her more notoriety, and more people know about her today than they did a week ago.
It's getting her money too.
And it's getting her money too.
It jumped from what it was to $2,000 a month, and it may be higher now. That means that's enough to pay rent. Okay? Yeah. Her rent is paid for. Okay? She doesn't have to worry about anything for a while. Okay?
Exactly. And
And the
again,
people donating to her, the people don't. Sorry, I don't want to talk over you too much. I'll let you get
No.
back to it. But the people who are donating, some people have pointed this out. You look at the names; those people are way up there. Okay, some of these people are running these gaming sites. Okay, these people are involved, and nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit.
And what do? She's been using her influence to tear down sites that are, exposing the truth of what she's been doing. She's been using her contacts to hide things that she's been doing. Like you said, she now can pay rent. And what has she done? She's done
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. So again, it goes back to, I don't want the responsibility. She doesn't want the responsibility of actually having to make something of herself, to actually, achieve something. She's achieved, what we all want, which is to be able to support ourselves without doing anything.
Oh, well, she's done plenty.
Can I just interject really quick? As a creator, that is so disappointing because I spend a lot of my time trying to hone my craft and try to create something worth being created, and to see this woman get this particular individual essentially sleep into. Well, I guess it's the way it always is, except now instead of saying, okay, well, she's basically just a gold digger. Except
you want to earn it
men.
Is the difference. You want to earn it.
She's basically a gold digger with multiple men, but what she's doing is she's pretending that she's actually creating something, which she isn't.
She's all talk and she's pretending. Oh, and the thing about it, the thing that's different now.
China no talk.
She uses other lips.
Okay, they're making this socially acceptable. They're like, oh, okay, wait, she cheated on people, sweeping that under the rug. Oh wait, she fucked over these other women, sweeping that under the rug. It's okay, guys. We're just gonna focus on the fact that she's supposedly being harassed right now, and that there are reasons I believe that she's not really being harassed. And you can look up the screenshots yourself. There's evidence that she faked her Tumblr her Tumblr hack.
Yeah.
There's evidence for that she faked the last raid.
I think, people need to actually start demanding from her. All she has to do is contact Tumblr and say, this is a unique situation that I'm in, and I'm in a difficult spot, and I was wondering if you could give me the logs for all of the logins on my Tumblr. Give me them, or give me a screenshot of them, or whatever, so I can prove that my Tumblr was actually hacked. Right? She owns that Tumblr domain. I'm sure Tumblr would be happy to give her that, right, to prove that she wasn't faking the whole thing. I mean, this is the thing. This is the thing with the DMCA claim, right, against Mundane Matt. She knows that there is no way that she can dispute that. She knows that there is no way she can blame that on someone else, some troll, somebody else, some anonymous person working on her behalf, or some person who's doing it that she had nothing to do with. She knows that because she used her own email address, right? She used an email address attached to her name, right? A public email address to do that. The stupid girl, right? Because honestly, if you want to avoid responsibility for things, you shouldn't actually be doing that. You shouldn't actually be using your regular email account to make a false DMCA claim that is actually a felony under U.S. law, right? It is actually perjury to do that, right? But frankly, I think that really there is nothing that separates her, sort of psychologically from that group of women in England in the 1600s who petitioned the King of England to ban coffee. They wanted to ban coffee because their men were not doing what they wanted them to do. And part of their complaint was, our men are, they're not coming to us to perform upon us the grand kindness, of a night, right? They don't want sex from us. because of this evil, evil coffee, right? You know, the moment that a certain type of woman feels that she's, and this is, I think, why feminists are so obsessed with sexual objectification at the same time as being so obsessed with if you say she's dressed too sexily, then you're a misogynist because she should be allowed to dress however she wants and have her tits hanging out and be wearing a skirt that takes 2 haircuts to pull off and whatever the fuck she wants to wear to the office or to school, it should be her business, right? Because they know that is power. Right? They absolutely know. They know that is power over men. Right?
Well, obviously, this woman's used it.
Right? And when those women in England in the 1600s, you know, it was a combo attack. It was like it's a defensive attack against our husbands not putting out enough for us, which means that now if we don't have that power over them, that sexual power. If they don't want sex, then they're not going to do things to get sex, right? They're not going to go out and work hard and buy us nice things and all of that to get sex from us, right?
I think it's just the sheer power of blue nosing. I mean, it's just getting people to do what you want. Well, sorry,
Right.
yeah. Blue nose.
Here's some, you know, she's bitching about what? She got a couple comments. Okay, I'm gonna read you real quick something that I was sent. Okay, she didn't get anything out of the ordinary. Someone wrote to me because I wrote, you know, feminism is full of shit, whatever. However I worded it at that point. And they wrote, "Learn your shit, stupid fucker, XXXXX." And I said, okay, you're clearly not capable of speaking like a human being. And they wrote, "Ow, wow, fucking bless you, stupid cunt, get away, fucking twat, thanks, die." So, this is normal shit. You know what I mean?
That's almost beautiful. It's like a haiku.
Yeah, no.
It's a haiku of asshole. An asshole haiku. It's you know, so what she's saying is not something so extraordinary. It's shit that all of us here have heard. It's shit that all of us hear daily, weekly, whatever. You know,
and yet they will argue that the reason that we get things like that's just the patriarchy, because patriarchy hurts everybody. Okay, somehow it's like the feminist flowchart is like, is there a problem? Patriarchy. Is it not patriarchy?
No, okay.
It's still patriarchy.
Here's something I just realized listening to this. Maybe the problem with us is that the patriarchy that oppresses feminists, that can actually oppress feminists, is just way too weak to oppress us. We need we need an extra strong patriarchy.
We do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is. We need concentrated patriarchy.
Actually,
yeah.
By the way, for those of you that don't know, I'm trying to start a hashtag on Twitter. I get some responses. It's boycott corrupt VG media, and if you want to stand behind me and you know, boycotting all these motherfuckers that have been censoring all this stuff, please do show your support and show your anger in that hashtag.
And also, I want to plug again that video. You just have to look on YouTube, search Zoe Quinn dating simulator, and you will come across a few mirrors of it. I guess it was originally uploaded to Daily Motion or whatever the fuck it's called.
Oh wait, by the way, Nephinor wanted me to add in, like, oh yeah, he helped too. Yeah, we did it together. Sorry.
Yeah, that excellent, because that absolutely was the fucking funniest thing I ever fucking watched.
Okay, can I make a request? Karen, can you read the lyrics that Hannah put through in the voice of Gilbert Godfrey?
What lyrics are these?
Oh, I'll repost them. It actually goes to... Do you remember an old song, Quinn the Eskimo?
The
Mighty Quinn.
No, I'm not gonna sing that.
No.
Let's not add that wrinkle.
Why don't you just do Closer by 9 Inch Nails? I
Oh,
wanna
God.
fuck you like an animal. I don't wanna
Who the fuck writes this crap?
Nobody writes it. It's just us dweebs
It's
flailing awkwardly.
I'm firing my agent.
Closer to God. I'm so okay. Well, James is telling us he's got a date tonight, so I guess we got to wrap
All right,
this.
fine. I will just read this because it's great.
Oh.
Everybody's making games they hope you want to play. Some are building vivid worlds and others just flash games. Ain't nobody likes despair. Nobody wants to cry. When Quinn's depression gets here, everybody's gonna run and hide. Come on without, come on within. You'll not see nothing like the flighty Quim. Okay. Sorry?
I'll have to write the rest of it as soon as I
Yeah,
have
you'll have to write the rest of it because that's
James is a hot date. We will not make him late.
I'm not
Damn
the
it!
oldest person.
Come on,
I'm
okay,
not
there's
the
been
only
enough
person
awkward
that remembers
flailing.
that
Someone
song.
end this.
James, well, you gotta kill our fucking groove? What the fuck?
What?
Brother Groove, James.
You're oppressing us, James. Oppressing.
Yeah, it's the datriarchy.
James, I'm jealous.
Okay, why don't we just say goodnight? I mean, I think there's been
Jealous.
enough awkward
Good night,
flailing and
everybody.
weird.
Good night,
Oh.
Grace.
I thought we did say goodnight.
Good night.
Oh,
All
oh, you
right.
thought
night. I
that
guess
was
we're
like
still
5 minutes
recording.
ago.
Don't forget, Zoe Quinn Date Simulator. Go watch it.
Yes, it's hilarious and
Wait.
disturbing. Two
Yeah,
very wonderful tastes. that
Also, the
taste
one where
great
she's
together.
running track or whatever, and they set up like a speedway to go
Oh,
through.
it's
Like,
full.
yeah. Okay, just go. And
Yeah,
remember,
just go.
remember. Just yeah. Tell the
Remember
gaming
what?
corrupt gaming journalist to fuck off.